Up next, how to use marketing to engage your attendees before the event with Megan Powers, Liz Irving, and Rachel Stefan. Megan Powers is the founder and chief strategist at Powers of Marketing. She has a wide and deep experience in the meetings and events industry. Her company, Powers of Marketing, is a boutique strategic marketing communication agency, providing podcast hosting, strategy consultation, training, content, and execution to organizations seeking to strategically market themselves through content and events. Liz Irving is Executive Vice President, Head of Marketing, Technology, and Customer Experience at Clarion Events. Liz has over 20 years of experience in the events industry. She is focused on delivering results by creating brand strategies and providing innovative approaches that meet her customers' needs. In her current role, Liz oversees the strategic direction and integration of the marketing and technology functions across North America. Rachel Stefan is the founder and CEO of Snowball. Rachel is an event marketing strategist, event tech startup founder, and industry speaker on topics that cover event marketing and influencer marketing. She is a force to be reckoned with, whipping up creative solutions to event marketing challenges for the past 19 years.
Hello, and welcome to the Engage Virtual Conference. This session today with these two lovely ladies is how to use marketing to engage your attendees before the event. Now, we know it's not only before the event that's important, and we'll talk about that, but we want to talk about how to get people there. So I am Megan Powers, and I'm with Powers Marketing, and we provide strategic communication marketing services for small to medium-sized businesses. Liz Irving is Executive Vice President, Head of Marketing, Technology, and Customer Experience at Clarion Events North America. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you.
The longest title ever. And Rachel Stefan is Snowballer in Chief at Snowball. She is also Senior Event Marketing Strategist at Sensub. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you both for being here. Marketing is a passion for all of us, I know. And whether your event is online or offline or hybrid or blended or, sauteed, whatever you want to call it, and whatever language we end up going with. It's important to get the people there, and whether it's no matter what kind of event it is, those participants are almost the most important part. We'll talk about content too. Participants are important. So I wanted to start off by seeing if it is October. Do you have any tricks of the trade, or is there something that's super basic that marketers are getting wrong to get the butts in the seats? Rachel, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not so much about doing things wrong. It's tapping into an opportunity that's right under their nose, which is the community of the event, that we believe has so much power in helping to expand and amplify the message of an event by getting your own event community who's already sold on the event and the idea to become the voice of that event, and then get that perspective and recommendation, or a peer-to-peer recommendation, basically, to help drum up the excitement, expand the visibility of the event so that they have a wider net of people that they're reaching in order to kind of convert them, to bring them to the event.
I love that. Yes. Word of mouth is obviously super important for everything that's being sold, whether it's an event or not. Liz, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Rachel. I would just add the other piece I think is really important with the amount of content that we're all getting these days. You have to really understand the customer need. Get the customer at the heart of what you're doing. Make sure you understand what they need to have, what motivates them, and how you can get them into your virtual experience. Not everything translates into virtual. So it's okay. It's okay to know that, but figure out what really matters to your customer, and then make sure that's what you talk about, that's what you produce, and that's how you play back to them to fulfill the need.
Yeah, and I think people are so concerned about the technology and how to deliver it, that they're maybe spending less time on that content, which will get the people there, but it won't just get them there, it'll keep them there and hopefully get them talking about it, which will then, snowball, as they say. All right. So, so like I said, getting people to register is one thing, but what can we do to get participants excited and engaged up front? What are some things that we can get them to, like Rachel said, help us market the event? What do you think?
I think the idea, like what Liz was saying, is the content. If the content is really spot on of what they need and it's relevant to them, it will get them talking. So it really has to hit a pain point of what they're going through and engage them prior to that. So it helps the organizer kind of curate and get those, information and perspectives and challenges from people ahead of the event, even, which could be fed to the organizer and the speaker to make this session even more relevant for the event. If I can give you a quick example, which was just a recent one we just did last week, we did our first virtual event as Snowball, and was on the a debate between free versus paid virtual events. And we got perspective from people, from association people, not your usual suspects, to come talk about it from actual cases. And the pre-event marketing that we did for that was engaging people to pick a team. Which team are you on? So people were going and posting on social, on LinkedIn, I'm team paid, I'm team free, and I'm team undecided. There was an overwhelming number of undecided people, that's for sure. But you can see on social, it was just like blew up basically because people took sides. They felt they took part in the campaign, in the content leading up to it. And when it happened, then they started posting about what they were learning and what team they're on. Maybe they changed teams after the event. So that's one way that they feel like they take ownership of the event and the content. And that's key in getting them involved into being part of the marketing campaign.
I love that. I was going to actually ask you how many people changed after.
I don't have the data yet. We're compiling actually the recording, and we're doing a post-engagement campaign, which we're taking that content, we're creating an ebook from not just what the speaker said, but what the participants talked about in the chat, because there was a lot of input there, creating that takeaways and making that piece available for everybody after. So there's a post-event marketing campaign that's going to be snowballed after this.
Love it. All right, Miss Liz, what do you think?
Well, I think you talked about a lot of the right things that we're doing too. Is there's different phases now, right? So there's an awareness phase, there's an engagement phase, and there's a huge opportunity post-event to repurpose that content. But for us, it's really about what are you creating that's return on time, right? Because I signed up for so many events recently, and I may not go to all of them, but I know I want that download afterwards. So it's about what's special, what's different. And we've been having tactics where we're sending out what you may get, a quick tip or 5 things you'll learn, like so you don't want to miss this. We actually just had a huge event for our firefighters, and we were selling fire trucks, literally fire trucks online. And after the event, we had our editor come on to a Facebook Live and talk about the findings and the discussions between the firefighters. It was really a great way to take the virtual experience and go back to social and drive more conversation and more engagement for folks maybe who didn't even see it live first time.
That's awesome. Love it.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And the monetizing, that's so interesting because I did an Inside Events episode on how to monetize. And so we did have that discussion about whether people are more likely to show up if they don't have to pay, right? I feel like more compelled to show up to something that I've paid for, and I expect more from it. So I'll be really interested, Rachel, to see all that.
I'll share that with you after. Yes.
Awesome. All right. So in my experience, and I wrote my thesis on face-to-face versus online communication within the context of trade shows. So I did some research, and it was 6 years ago, and that came out of what happened with the recession, with the 08-09 implosion of our industry, because people did say, well, we can just put it online. Obviously, we know we can work online, right? So this is even more, this is like that on steroids, right? Like this time period right now. And we will get back to meeting face to face, but it's just an interesting thing that I what came out of that really was that it's a combination. It's the online and offline that work together. So if you can engage with people before an event and then, see them face to face, and then make sure that you keep in touch, digitally after that, that's like the best of all worlds, right? Well, I think the same thing holds true as well for online events, as well, if not more so. So now that everything's mainly online, I do feel like people are just showing up. I did that myself yesterday, if I'm honest. California, MPI, we had a California collaborative event yesterday, and I just logged in. I hadn't figured out what sessions I was going to go to or anything. So anyway, so in this online era, do you have any perspectives on whether this will be different when we end up with blended events, or or even what are your own experiences in terms of, like, is your experience the same as mine? Are you just showing up? Are you doing the work before events like you used to? Kind of what's the...
Pre-preparing for events. There's less preparation as opposed to just, also showing up, but knowing what's there. And I think having the organizer focus on maybe exclusivity of content will make you also show up, because, then if you see the same speaker showing up here and there, then it's okay, I've seen that, done that. Sometimes I log into stuff and I just leave it also in the background playing. So for me, it becomes like a podcast than just an event. Or I'll just register to get the recording to watch it later. That's one thing. But if you look at the hybrid and where we're going, we've seen that virtual events, they double and triple attendance, especially when they are free. So there's a huge opportunity for organizations to use this opportunity for virtual event to have them as lead generation for later on. So you're building that audience because you're used to marketing the same people. You have the same members, same people that keep coming to the event. Now there's more and more people are getting that awareness about your event, signing up to it. So you have this pool of people. Maybe you're not monetize them right away, but what are you doing with that, lifetime journey of that customer that you just acquired? And how can you service them and show your value as you go on? And maybe they will come to your in-person event now that they've experienced a freemium version of your event, basically in the virtual world. That's how I see it going right now.
I love it. And I appreciate that perspective as well. I think there's a lot of that, like the exposure that you're getting to people that you wouldn't have otherwise. And then especially if you have a membership based organization, if you can convert that person to a member, down the line, then obviously there's a ton of value in that. Liz, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with everything Rachel said. I think one of the things that I'm most excited about is it's opening our possibilities up for how we engage customers. Audience acquisition is going to be huge, but one of the big focuses for us has been around how do we get real meaningful meetings happening, one-to-one meetings. So I actually see this as a great opportunity to enter before the show, have some meetings, and then take that conversation so much further and more meaningful on site, and then follow up post-show as well. We're talking now about doing virtual meetings live on the trade show floor, so folks can have one-to-one in person, but also have virtual meetings. And we're talking a lot more about, what does that experience need to look like, and how do we captivate them year round, but how do we become that center hub of community where conversations happen, and we're sort of the service helping put those folks together and share and learn ideas.
That's super smart. So what I'm hearing you both saying is that the pre-show contact is important in terms of getting people excited about your event, which then leads me to the next thing, right? The marketing shouldn't stop once the event starts. The marketing should continue to create FOMO, right? Because that's even when we're a person, anyone who's like live tweeting or all that social media that's happening, it's free advertising for your show, and hopefully it will encourage people, to go when it's in person again. So what's your number one piece of advice for creating FOMO while the event is going on? Liz, you want to start this time?
Yeah, I think you have to talk about it. Get your community talking, share the fun tips. I also think video is really so much endless possibility these days. We've got so many more ways to tell our story. And I think if you think about a virtual platform, some are a little scary, but if you show how people are engaging or how easy it can be, or snippets of what went on there. People want to be where conversation's happening, where thought leadership goes on. So I think doing those things are going to be really important for us to sort of get the FOMO going. The other thing is you miss the serendipity of what a live event offers because, you just missed having you coming up around something. So I think find ways to add that serendipity into your online event. I've seen events, and I've been to a couple that have like a mixologist who comes on, or we did some swag giveaways. People love that. It's the element of surprise and making sure those connections and the experience continues.
I love that. Yeah, I have a client who's having an event later this month. They're still having their luncheon. So their $30,000 budget for lunch that they thought went away is now only 20 because they're providing lunch for everyone so that everyone will actually be in their, home office eating lunch at the same time.
That's very cool, though. It's very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you still have to bring that element of whatever you used to be instead of just sitting at a computer and by yourself and doing that. So it's like bringing that another dimension to the virtual event, which is interesting, I find.
Yeah, the mixologist thing is cool. I've gotten that too, where we've got a kit and then the bartender is showing us live how to make the drink. So awesome.
That is cool. I wanted to add that, though, also another notion for virtual event, there is also that accelerated time that you need to build up to create the campaign because now you have shorter time to promote. But also the marketing doesn't stop when the event starts because it's virtual. So people can still log on. They don't have to travel anywhere to make it to the event. They can just click and join because someone just posted like, hey, to finish the wrapping. This is what we did actually for Untethered event. I don't know if you've seen that one, where they had 1,000 people signed up a week before the event, and it kept going up and going up until the end was 4,700 people signed up. Because at the first day, we kept sending them messages saying, hey, go promote and say, this is the first day just happened. It was a great content that was shared there. There's still time to sign up for it. So people kept signing up all the way to the end of it. So there's a chance, an opportunity there to continue after that. And obviously the user-generated content, the social proofing that you're talking about is really key in creating that FOMO because people check it out and see, oh, what are they looking? Take a screenshot of the screen of speakers or people or whatever, maybe the mixology you're doing, that experience and having them share it also too. That's a way of getting other people to talk about you, about the event, to create that FOMO.
Yeah, well, and you can gamify it, right? You can make it, whoever tweets the most or whatever. I think that's almost even more valuable now than it was like for being in person.
Yeah, and people are getting comfortable with technology. They're forced to it now. So I think they're more likely to engage and be part of that than before. So it's a plus. Use it for your advantage, I guess.
Yeah, well, and some surprise and delight. You could have online, like top 5 tweeters each get a $5 Starbucks card, coffee on us, and you're sending it to them electronically, so you don't even have to worry about it.
Exactly.
I think the other thing is don't be afraid if they're not there with you live because so many of us are watching things on demand. I'm seeing so many more viewers coming after. So there's great, like you said, Rachel, don't stop the marketing because there's a lot of opportunity to sort of keep coming back when they're ready to view what you have.
Exactly. That's the key. It's on demand, creating that continuity. It's like think of an event as a series, and I think Dahlia says it really nicely. Is create the binge-worthy event part. So it's like you're getting them always hooked, like a series, like an event, like whatever you watch on Netflix, basically, that they can continue watching and come back for more. Don't give it all up.
Binge-worthy events. What? That's rad.
I can't take the credit for it.
That's all right. People who are watching now probably didn't hear it before, so I certainly didn't. I think that's really cool. All right, so I do want to say, I didn't say at the top, put your questions in the chat and we will be present within the session to answer your questions. So make sure you do that before we're done. We have a couple more questions. So I love to talk about tools. I'm a tech person like Rachel. I know Rachel is. So is there one tool that, as a marketer of events, that you cannot live without? Liz?
Okay, so I'll be honest, I polled my team to make sure I was going to bring you the right tool, and we all unanimously said it's the marketing automation software we use. It has changed the game for us. It's allowed us to not only better target and personalize with dynamic content, it's allowed us to watch behavior. And I think behavior tells you so much more than just what customers are saying to you and filling out. So our marketing automation tool is Pardot, but we really have found a way to use it to further our audiences. We found it as a way to nurture sales leads back and forth between our CRM. And it's really allowed us to unlock new opportunities in a really fashionable way to serve up the content when it's most needed.
Can you share what tool you guys use?
Yeah, so we use Pardot.
What is it?
Pardot.
Oh, I've not heard of that. Is it like a Marketo or?
It's like a Marketo, yeah, Marketo or Eloqua, yeah.
Okay. Nice. Rachel, what do you think?
Shameless plug.
Ah,
Snowball, of course.
Explain how it works. So in case anybody is watching.
Snowball is a tool, actually, technology that we built based on our experiences doing marketing for events for the past 19 years. So it's really tapping into the community to be able to help you promote for you. So we kind of empower everybody who's part of the event, which we believe everyone has influence. So the speakers, the attendees, the exhibitors, everybody has a chance to influence someone else to come to the event. So we give them digital marketing toolkits personalized to them, because it's like, what's in it for me? So a speaker is going to promote their session, an exhibitor is going to promote what they're presenting at the show. So they can take ownership of it. And that way you kind of have them, give them these tools to go and spread the word about the event. Coupled with video, which also a way to curate, to hear it from the speaker, a little teaser about what they're going to be presenting on, from the exhibitor, what they're going to be presenting on. Then you have like a full social proofing, community-driven peer-to-peer marketing that is really powerful, and you can track it and see who's doing what, and in return reward them also for what they are doing and how many people they've registered for the event. So that's a game changer, I think, in our world.
I love that. Yes, so valuable, so valuable. And I think I don't think event organizers utilize their speakers enough, personally, to help get butts in seats. I think that and speakers, frankly, could do a better job to, generally speaking, of helping to promote the events that they're going to be speaking at. So I always like to say, put it in your agreements with your speakers to get them to do that. And if you're using a tool like Snowball, even better. That's so awesome. All right. So and we're winding down. We're almost to time. Is there an app, tool, or gadget you've been geeking out on outside of what we just talked about that that event marketers should know about, or marketers, humans? We can broaden it to humans, that humans should know about. Rachel, what do you think? Anything?
Can't think of anything. I mean, no, I can't think. I'm all work right now. I'm boring, but yeah, no.
Yeah. Now, well, is there a tool? I mean, like
Slack,
work.
It's really, we live on that. Really, it's
Slack.
How we communicate. Yeah. It's your office everywhere you go, basically. And now that we're all working from home remotely, that's a key way to stay connected with the team and everybody and keep things moving.
Yeah. Well, and several teams in one app, right? Like I have five different Slack channels that I'm subscribed
to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Liz, what about you?
Gosh, I feel like I've been geeking out on looking at a whole bunch of online platforms just to kind of see what's out there. They're developing so quickly, and I always like to see what's happening next. But I'm with Rachel, like having that team communication, it is so critical because of the rate of change that things are happening. And, just getting the teams communicating is a big piece. So Slack is a great tool to be able to connect the groups and really have the right channels to have the conversations with the different topics.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Thank you, Rachel and Liz, so much for joining us today. I know that this Engage conference is going to be super valuable for everyone who is learning the online world, and we'll all take all these lessons that we've learned during this very interesting moment in time, right? And be able to be better with everything that we're doing moving forward, whether it's hybrid, in person or just online. So thanks a lot, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.